Hey guys, we're in the home stretch of finishing our Lemoyne Star block. So here we have this sewn together, right? So, oh yeah, by the way, welcome to Creating Healing. I'm eating chips. I'm the Hanley at Creating Hanley. And it's midnight, so we need to go to bed soon. But anyway, I wanted to finish this project, so here we go. So, we sewed all these HSTs together, right? So you had your trimmed 3 1/4 HST block right here, HST block, HST block. So you have all these blocks. You chain pieced all these together. You sewed the rows together. You trimmed them up if you needed to. And now we are at this point where we are going to sew both of these halves together to create our star. So let's right sides together. Take this over to the machine, and you can, if you made your seams go in opposite directions, you can nest these seams, or just line them up. Now, I actually did not make mine go in opposite directions, so that just means there's a lot of bulk right here at this seam. So I'm just going to line these up as best I can, and then take it over to the machine here, and start sewing. Oh yeah, by the way, I cut my finger peeling potatoes. You know, that Irish in me. I just had to have a potato, I guess. It came back and bit me in the finger. Haha. Alright, so this is the really bulky part. There we go. That worked pretty well. Keep your seams aligned. Straight line all the way down. 1/4 inch seam allowance. Take that out, and now we have our finished block. This is it, guys. This is our finished block. You can see how that creates a motion to it, right? Well, even just the pattern itself with the swirlies in the bold print here, and the pink isn't, you know, plain. It has some movement to it. So you can see how that works. Now, in your quilt, you can set this like this. This is probably what I'll do. Or you can set it on point and do it this way, at a diagonal. And that works out pretty nice too. So, I'm going to take this over to the iron. We're going to iron this. Iron it flat. Now there's a lot of bulk in this seam right here, right in the center. So what you can do, if you really want to, if you want to take the time to do it, you can seam rip a couple of these stitches and then twirl your seams. I'm not going to do that. I am just pressing it straight down. I am going to use a little bit of steam, a little bit of water to relax the fibers in the fabric, relax the threads. And you just press down. No need to swirl the iron around. You just press it flat. Let the heat of the iron do its job. Let the weight of the iron do its job. Okay? And then if you want to, you can flip it over and do the same thing on this side. It should be pretty good. There we go, guys. And there's our Lemoyne Star. Now I'm going to take this over to the cutting deck right here. And you can square this up. Now this is, if you can see that, that is considerably less than 12.5 inches. I don't know if you guys can see that. If I hold this up, you can see it's less than 12.5 inches. So that means that if I wanted to, like on this one, I can put sashing around. So you see how I added this sashing around this star? This is the same thing. So I added sashing around this star. I can add sashing to this one. if I really want to, which I probably will. But I don't have any cut to show you, but you would just take maybe like 1.5 inches sashing on all 4 sides. So you make your sashing maybe, 13 inches long. So make your sashing 13 inches long and 1.5 inches wide, and then sew it on here, and then square it. Well, first square this up, because this is very wonky. Unless you made yours absolutely perfect. But you want to square up this block so that this is square. And then when you add your sashing, you have even seams, nice even seams. And then make them maybe about 13 inches long. So if you have, this is a 12.5 inch Omni Grid, you don't have to use that, but it's just nice for me. So make your strips, wider than you need and longer than you need so that you can trim them down. Okay? And then here's my batting, and I'm going to use this edge right here. I'm just going to use this little piece, and I'm going to use this as my guide, but I'm making my batting a little bit wider. So you can see I'm just going to cut it a little bit wider. And I'm just going to start right here and even wider. Straight off like that. Straight off there. And then this I save for another project. And then I'm just going to use my guide and cut straight down. There we go. And then this I save for another project. So I'll put this in my, I have a scrap batting, which is separate from scrap fabric. So I have a scrap batting box. So there we go. So now I have a nice big batting for my inner part of my sandwich. So I would take, whoa, I just threw that on the floor, guys. So I would take my top piece and whatever backing you're going to use. So for example, I'm going to use this as a backing, and you just make your sandwich. And hopefully the backing is a little bit bigger than the top. And like I said in a previous video, it is super difficult to get these, points to line up exactly. So if you were to trace around your star, it won't be the same on this side. So you probably just want to do like a design, like all funky design or something, so it looks similar to this side. So I'm not going to quilt this on camera with you guys, but you guys get the gist of it, right? So there it is. There's your quilt sandwich. You have the batting, you have the backing, you have the top, and then you just quilt whatever design you want on here. And because it's only one block, it fits easy underneath your home machine, and you can quilt, whatever design you want. And you can experiment with different stitches on your machine. If you have, a fancy machine that has fancy stitches, you can try that. Alright guys, I want to keep this super short. So this actually finishes. I'm not going to quilt it on camera. And then do not trim around, because remember, we're going to save the trimming to the very, very end, so that all our blocks match, and when we do the sashing or when we attach all the blocks together, they're all the correct size, all the same size. Alright guys, so that is our block. We finished the Lemoyne Star, sometimes called the Lemon Star, sometimes called an 8-point star. There's actually another way to do this. So instead of doing half square triangles and putting a seam in the star legs, you can do it a little bit differently and have like this as the pattern. So this would be like one piece of fabric, and then you sew it to, a white background, and you sew it to another whole piece of fabric. So there's another way to do this, and I may tackle that in another video, but it won't be in March. Okay, so because we've created this one, we're going to move on to a new star. All right? Guys, thanks for quilting along with me. I appreciate you sticking around, even though the video is kind of crazy, but I appreciate you so much. All right, you have a fun time quilting the Lemoyne Star. We'll see you next time. All right, thanks. Hang in there. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Love y'all. Bye.